All right. This is the Cortez City Council regular meeting. Today's Tuesday, January 23rd, 2024, and the time is 7:30 p.m. I'd like to call this meeting to order and ask you all to join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Linda, can we have the roll call?
Kiefhofer.
Here.
DeHaven.
Here.
Spruill.
Here.
Rainey.
Here.
Yazzie.
Here.
Dobry.
Here.
Medina.
Here. Note that we have a quorum tonight. Do we have an approval of the agenda as presented?
Madam Mayor, I move that we approve the agenda as presented.
Second.
Motion made by Dobry and seconded by Yazzie.
DeHaven.
Aye.
Yazzie.
Aye.
Rainey.
Aye.
Dobry.
Aye.
Kiefhofer.
Aye.
Spruill.
Yes.
Medina.
Aye. All right, we're going to move on to number 2 on our agenda, the consent agenda. The listing under consent agenda is a group of items to be acted on with a single motion and vote. This agenda is designed to expedite the handling of limited routine matters by City Council. Either the public or a council member may request that an item may be removed from the consent agenda at the time prior to council's vote. I'll ask if a citizen or council member wishes to have any specific item removed from the consent agenda for discussion after listing the items. Approval of the work session and agenda minutes for January 9th, 2024. B, approval of the expenditure list for January 23rd, 2024. And C, approval of a renewal hotel and restaurant liquor license for Rudowski Unlimited LLC, DBA Rudowski Unlimited, located at 2310 East Empire Street, Cortez. Any poll for discussion or approval as is?
I move that we approve the consent agenda as presented.
Motion made by Dobry and seconded by Rainey.
Yazzie.
Aye.
Kiefhofer.
Aye.
Dobry.
Aye.
Spruill.
Yes.
DeHaven.
Aye.
Rainey.
Aye.
Medina.
Aye. All right, we're on number 3 on our agenda, public participation. There's no limit to the number of speakers, although public comment may be held to an overall time limit of 30 minutes. Speakers have a time limit of 3 minutes per person, may only speak once, and may not cede time to another commenter. All right, no public participation for this round, so we'll move on to 4 on our agenda, presentations. We have none tonight, so 5 is public hearings. 5A is ordinance number 1324, series 2024. It's the second reading and public hearing of ordinance number 1324, series 2024, an ordinance containing the updated franchise agreement between the City of Cortez and Empire Electric Association. Presented by Brian Peckins, our Director of Public Works.
Madam Mayor, City Council, yes, we're going to discuss the Empire Electric franchise agreement. The City of Cortez and Empire Electric have been working in a combined effort to adjust, update, and approve a new franchise agreement. The current agreement has been altered and revised to include corrections, change of language, and clarifications that will benefit the understanding of both parties involved. Some highlights are that the 10-year term will be shortened to a 5-year term, mainly to, just because of the pace of technology, if we have to make any changes, we can make adjustments more quickly. We're going to use electric files instead of hard copy files. The 10% streetlight replacement clause has been removed, as nearly all streetlights have been modernized with LED bulbs. We're repealing all the old ordinances. Really not a lot of changes to it. And the first reading of the ordinance was held at the last council meeting on 9 January 2024. And our staff recommends that council approve on second and final reading ordinance number 1324, series 2024, an ordinance adopting the updated franchise agreement between the City of Cortez and Empire Electric Association. Upon adoption of the ordinance franchise agreement, Empire Electric Association can sign the acceptance of the franchise on page 9 of the ordinance. Subject to any questions.
Can you remind me which section it addresses the GIS information and providing that digitally? Because I'm just curious, are they going to do that once or on a regular basis?
Article 3 is where the GIS information,
As far as the frequency of the updates, we get that information at Empire Electric each time we request it. We don't get it on any kind of automatic schedule, so we have to ask them for the updates.
Okay, but this agreement covers their response, essentially. If you request it, then they provide it.
Correct.
Okay.
They're bound to provide it.
Can we, quickly, sorry to interrupt, can we get you to use the mic? We need to have you for the record, please.
Is that better?
Not really, can you get closer?
So Empire Electric is bound to provide that information each and every time that we request it. Now, granted, we don't want to request it every single day and be obnoxious about it, but they are required to provide that information at our request.
Okay. Did you have a question?
Madam Mayor, I make a motion that council approve on second and final reading ordinance number 1324, Series 2024, an ordinance containing the updated franchise agreement between the City of Cortez and Empire Electric Association.
Madam Mayor, before you get a second,
we
you need to open it up to
public
public
Oh, right,
comment.
we're on a public hearing. Okay. And we don't have any applicant here? Okay. Okay, last question. So they're in agreements with the 5 years, the reducing it from 10 to 5?
yes.
Okay. All right, we'll open this up for public hearing. Do we have anyone from the public who would like to comment and be sworn in? Okay, seeing none, we'll close the public comment section. And then, do we have any more discussion or a motion?
I just had a quick question about the process of repealing the previous ordinance. Is that done through passing this ordinance? It's mentioned, repealing the previous ordinance is mentioned in the discussion section. Does it just supersede it, or is that something we need to?
No, as part of approval of this ordinance, it does get rid of any of the previous ordinances.
Okay, thank you.
Should I restate the motion?
I would recommend
Okay.
so.
Madam Mayor, I make a motion that council approve on second and final reading ordinance number 1324, Series 2024, an ordinance containing the updated franchise agreement between the City of Cortez and Empire Electric Association.
Second.
Motion made by Yazzie and seconded by Kefauver.
Dobry,
Aye.
Kefauver,
Aye.
DeHaven,
Aye.
Rainey,
Aye.
Yazzie,
Aye.
Spruill,
Yes.
Medina.
Aye. Thank you both.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to move on our agenda to 6, unfinished business. We have none. So we're moving on to 7 on the agenda, new business. A is a new application for a tavern liquor license. This is to set a public hearing date and neighborhood boundaries for a new tavern liquor license for Cortez Conference Center, LLC, DBA Destination Grill, located at 2121 East Main Street, presented by Donna Murphy, our Deputy City Clerk.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Cortez Conference Center LLC DBA Destination Grill filed an application in the City Clerk's office on January 3rd, 2024 for a new tavern liquor license to be located at 2121 East Main Street in Cortez. Council is directed by state statute to determine the needs of the neighborhood, the desires of the residents of the neighborhood, and to verify that the applicant is of good character. Fingerprints for the applicants, Kurt and Joanne Longwalker, were sent to CBI, and individual history reports have been completed and are on file in the City Clerk's office. State regulations require that the local licensing authority schedule a public hearing not less than 30 days from the date of the application and set neighborhood boundaries. Public notice has been given by posting the premises, and a notice will be placed in the Cortez Journal. Staff is requesting that council set a public hearing date of Tuesday, February 13th, 2024 for review of a new tavern liquor license for Destination Grill and set the neighborhood boundaries as the Cortez city limits. Any questions?
I move that council set a public hearing date of Tuesday, February 13th, 2024 for a review of a new tavern liquor license for Cortez Conference Center LLC DBA Destination Grill located at 2121 East Main Street, Cortez, and the neighborhood boundaries be set to the Cortez city limits.
Second.
Motion made by DeHaven and seconded by Spruill.
Rainey.
Aye.
Spruill.
Yes.
DeHaven.
Aye.
Kiefhoffer.
Aye.
Yazzie.
Aye.
Dobry.
Aye.
Medina.
Aye. All right. Thanks, Donna. Okay, moving on to 7B on our agenda, which is the 2024 Classification and Compensation Study Bid Award. Awarding the 2024 Classification and Compensation Study Bid to Graves Consulting, presented by Matt Kashner, our Human Resources Director.
Good evening, Council and Madam Mayor. I'm here to ask your permission to hire Graves Consulting for our classification and compensation study. Our last study was done in 2018. Best practice is usually about every 5 years. The studies need to be completed to make sure our compensation is competitive and our classification of jobs are placed appropriately in our wage scales. I put together a request for proposal and sent that out on or about October 18th of 2023, and I see there's a typo there. I put 24, sorry about that. That hasn't occurred yet. We did receive 15 proposals ranging in price from $24,240 to $99,237. We had a committee put together which was Drew Sanders, City Manager, Kelly Koski, Finance Director, Debbie Spear, Human Resources Assistant, and myself. We reviewed the proposals and the committee recommends selecting Graves Consulting. Graves was the second lowest bidder by $15 over the lowest bidder. They did come highly recommended by Shane Hill, who's a former city manager here and current city manager in Windsor, Colorado. We would also like to have a pay equity analysis added on there for an additional $2,500, which would make the total contract $26,755. And I will take any questions.
Matt, when the study was done in 2018, just in general, what were some of the things that were found? Like, were we off base in terms of our salaries? Were we on with most of them, or just in general?
To be honest with you, the numbers were pretty ridiculous. We were really low. And they were so ridiculous that the city manager at that time, he was like, nope, you need to go back to them and talk to them. And so basically I did that, and they gave us 3 options. And they didn't want to call it a geographical reorganization of it, but that's basically what it was. And I do think that those numbers were based on Denver area, and we don't compete with that generally in anything. So there was three options they gave us, and we kind of chose the middle of the road option at that point, which did raise our top ends and the bottom ends on some things.
Thank you. I'm speaking, I already know the answer to this question, but is that historically what happens when we do a wage survey for the city of Cortez?
Well, speaking from my experience as a police officer, yes, I feel like that's what historically has happened. But I also feel like we have a complete different administration that's, Drew and Kelly are super supportive of employees and wages, and so it's a different time for us.
I know when I was on council previously and we did a wage study, there hadn't been one done for a long time, and I probably hadn't been one since 2018 in between. And I think we had 2 folks that were kind of like on par or above, but pretty much across the board, everybody was not.
I'm a strong believer in the wage survey because we need to find out where we're at. If we're above, we need to know. If we're way behind, we need to know. And it's an expense that I hate to put out, but I think it's necessary.
I would say that this bid is below what I had budgeted for this study, so that's good.
Yeah, I agree, Dennis, and it looks like they have done wage studies in a lot of other towns around here, so, and that they have a good reputation.
I was just going to ask, what was the original budget? What did you budget for the wage study?
$30,000.
Okay, thank you.
If I could make a comment, with the addition of the pay equity analysis, the dollar value, I would recommend that if somebody wants to make a motion to approve the award of the bid to Graves, that they include the authorization for the city manager to sign the professional services contract. We're still in the process of drafting and negotiating the contract, so it's not before you today. And rather than having to bring it back to council, I would recommend that you authorize the city manager to sign it.
And I assume that the city manager, along with HR, will look over the results, because I think there's a lot of things that need to be factored in, as not just salary, but benefits, and then also the drastic increase in housing prices, how that's going to affect wages.
Yes, Mayor and Council, absolutely. We want to have a pretty frank talk with them about all those factors and make sure that they're going to consider all of that. We want this very specific and custom tailored to Cortez. I'm not interested in a whole bunch of data from the Front Range that's not going to help us, that doesn't really apply. So thank you for your support on that, though.
If I may, they do mention in the proposal that they will take that into consideration, our benefits.
Great.
Madam Mayor, I'd like to make a motion that council award the 2024 classification and compensation study bid to Graves Consulting in the amount of $26,755 and include the authorization for the city manager to sign the professional services contract.
Second.
Motion made by Kiefhoffer and seconded by Yazzie.
Kiefhoffer.
Aye.
Rainey.
Aye.
DeHaven.
Aye.
Yazzie.
Aye.
Dobry.
Aye.
Spruill.
Yes.
Medina.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you, Matt. All right, we're going to move on to 7C on our agenda, resolution number 3, series number 2024. Resolution number 3, series 2024 is a resolution appointing Dennis Spruill and Vernon Knuckles as the representatives of the City of Cortez on the Dispatch Center Users Group, formerly known as the Dispatch Center Accountability Committee, presented by Chief of Police Vernon Knuckles.
Good evening, Mayor, City Council. It's that time of year again to sign the IGA for dispatch services and for council to appoint their representatives to that board. Last year, council appointed Councilman Spruill and myself to the board, and just here doing the same thing. So,
And this is a year-long?
every year.
Okay.
Yep.
And Dennis, you're good? Okay, thank you.
Just to clarify, this resolution is just to appoint the two of you, not to sign the IGA, is that correct?
That's correct. It does say on there to appoint. However, we do need to sign the agreement.
When will that come to us?
I was kind of under the impression it was in the packet, but I hadn't seen it. I was out of the office all week. And
Yeah, no, we'll have it at the next meeting.
okay,
And I'm assuming that happens every year?
every year.
Okay. So yeah, normally these would be in conjunction, and we'll just
Yep.
do that next year.
Any questions?
I move the council approve resolution number 3, series 2024, a resolution appointing Dennis Spruill and Vernon Knuckles as the city representatives, or as the representatives for the City of Cortez to the Dispatch Center Users Group.
Second.
Motion made by Dobry and seconded by Rainey.
Dobry.
Aye.
Kiefhoffer.
Aye.
Spruill.
Yes.
Rainey.
Aye.
DeHaven.
Aye.
Yazzie.
Aye.
Medina.
Aye.
Thank you,
All right,
council.
thank you, Chief. All right, we're going to move on to the agenda. 8 draft resolution and ordinances, we have none. 9, city attorney report.
No report this evening.
Okay, 10, city manager report.
Yes, I have a manager's report for you this evening, Mayor and Council. First of all, I attended the 32nd Annual Southwest Economic Outlook on January 9th over at Fort Lewis College. Some of the key points that we got from that was that unemployment rates are expected to remain low in 2024, and employee retention will be a challenge, mostly due to decreased housing and increased housing costs. And that is something that we've experienced for quite some time here, and it's really expected to continue. The cost of living has increased by 20% since April 2020. However, wages have not kept up to match the increased housing costs and inflation. Local incomes have not kept up with inflation since the start of the pandemic, and home prices are increasing at a faster rate than wages. For 2022 and 2023, families would need a 9% wage increase in their livable wage, and national wages would only increase by 4% in 2023. However, I note that our wages have increased significantly more than the national. Number 2, I had the opportunity to address the League of Women Voters at their monthly meeting on Saturday, January 13th at the Cortez Public Library. What was discussed was the city's financial situation, a discussion on our budget process, and challenges that the city is facing. We was able to announce at that meeting the completion of our audits and that we are now current. Next, I was able to attend the Montezuma Valley Irrigation Company annual meeting this past Saturday to represent the city with our 177 shares. The minutes for the 2023 meeting and the budget have been distributed to the council. Lastly, the City of Cortez has received our impounded conservation trust funds in the amount of $624,634.79, and that is the result of us becoming current. So reoccurring theme, but we're happy to be where we're at. And that concludes my report this evening, Mayor.
Do we have a plan for that meeting, or for that money, the Conservation Trust Fund? Does that just go into Parks and Rec budget?
Right, we're actually tapping into that this year, in fiscal year 24, for some projects for the Parks and Rec. So that's pretty well listed out in there, but we felt it important to use that as appropriate as state statute allows. So yes, we have tapped in, although not all of it. In fact, this $634,000, if I recall, is $120,000, I think, something over what we even expected. So we haven't tapped that.
Okay. I guess, yeah, just as over time as we spend it, I think it'd just be good to be aware of, is it that money covering these projects and what it can cover? Yeah,
I think that's really good to point out, and we can certainly do that as we go through, as those items come before council. We're happy to point that out.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, and as the finance director just pointed out, it is clearly stated in the budget what that's in. So it's in ClearGov and easily accessible. So. Okay, great. Okay. We'll move on to 11 on the agenda, City Council Committee Reports. 11A is the Mayor's Report on the Workshop. We had a joint meeting with our Planning and Zoning Board to get an update of the Land Use Code update process. We were able to kind of dive into the details of the changes they've made to Chapter 1 and Chapter 3, which are addressing zoning types and uses within zoning, and then the kind of regulations around them, setbacks, lot size, etc. And I really encourage the public to watch that meeting because it was really informative and learns a lot about the process. And they're going to move on to the next chapters, and the next joint meeting we'll have with Planning and Zoning will be in June 2024, predicted. And then there will be a few public meetings as well where the public can see the updates and make comments. And then any questions people have, go to our Planning and Zoning, or our Community and Economic Development Department. Sorry. Okay. We'll move on to other board reports. We'll start with Dennis. Okay. I don't have any.
The Mesa Verde Country Board meeting was rescheduled from the 15th to next Monday, and Kelly and I, as the representatives, expect to see the Mesa Verde Country budget before that meeting.
Okay. And then Dennis, or David said no. Okay. All right. Then we'll move on our agenda. 11, other items of business, no executive session. So then 13, public participation. There's no limit to the number of speakers and no overall time limit. Do we have any comments? Okay. All right, seeing none, do we have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion made by Yazzie and seconded by DeHaven.
Yazzie.
Aye.
Dobry.
Aye.
Rainey.
Aye.
Spruill.
Yes.
DeHaven.
Aye.
Kiefhoffer.
Aye.
Medina.
Aye. Oh, well, and our candidates picked a good night to come because this is one of our shortest meetings. All right, thank you all. Good night.